Let's begin the show then by finding out a little bit more about the latest directive towards deepfake that has been taken by the Ministry of IT. Atul Rai, co-founder and chief executive officer of Staqu Technologies, now joins in to give us his views on the same. Good to have you on board, Atul. Now, given that recently we had MeitY issuing that advisory to intermediaries to actually comply with the existing IT rules due to the concerns and the misinformation regarding AI deepfakes, I just want to understand from your perspective, given that you do dabble in this place fairly closely, how big of a concern is it really?
So, of course, deepfake, there are two different problem statement on deepfake. One is, of course, the awareness when you see anything on internet in general, because we are not very AI literate country, right? And that is where the challenge is. So whenever we see something on internet, we always think that is very real, right? And that is the problem in overall Indian ecosystem, right? And that is something is power for deepfake, because if you see something very new or something very we call it novelty hypothesis in psychology. We find something very new, you want to share it with someone, or maybe in that way, right? So a deepfake, the problem statement first is the awareness, and that is, I always say, is the awareness. If it is being spread in a right manner through different channels, that everything on internet is not real. So that is the first thing which we call precautions to be taken against the deepfake. Let's take an example of face blending, where people are putting a different person's face on the of course, for sharing something. So that was being like initial research paper was published called Pix to Pix by Google, which was being used for actually identifying mask or creating a photograph from sketch and all. So in that way, what happens, right? When you blend a photograph on someone's face, you have to get a very tight mask of the face so that you can make the lips sync, you make eyes get sync with the target image. So this is the very sophisticated technology. This Pix to Pix was developed where you can blend a mask on a particular, let's say, image and get the realistic outcome. So in that way, these technologies have been developed for a different thing. In the same way, the audio synthesis that was been developed for, let's say, when we call someone, sometimes we get disconnection in the network. So audio get disappeared. So that is where this technology was being used to complete that sentence, right? That means you are generating the similar audio like the speaker. But what happened, the people who started using it, they started using it in a very different manner. And that is where the deepfake, where you just generate the wrong audio synthesis data or synthetic data of a particular target, and the same way the facial expression as well. So in that way, this whole technology is being developed, and this is where the counter tech need to be built.
You know, you also had the IT Minister Rajiv Chandrasekhar asking intermediaries to exercise due diligence, promptly remove any misinformation or any such content from their platforms. Do you think this will be enough?
Yeah, so basically, there are different platforms already exist. For example, many companies. There's an organization called Stop NCII, which is an internet portal which is called Stop Non-Consensual Internal Images Abuse. So that is a portal. If let's say someone is uploading a deep nude of someone, let's say someone got my real picture and they converted in a deep nude and uploaded somewhere on Facebook or WhatsApp or companies like anywhere. The Pornhub is also a participant of that particular platform. So you can register your real photograph with that nude, and that will be removed from the whole internet. Those companies like Meta, Instagram, TikTok, Bumble, Reddit, all these companies are a partner there. So that is where, of course, industry is already taking their steps. And if government start creating a framework like this, it is always being helpful in that way. It will have to actually make it more legal doing those stuff. So yes, it is a good initiative, and it is a collective responsibility of both industry and the government to work on this. As I said, industry already has started working on this. There is already a portal which exists. They already have removed more than 2 lakh images from the internet where the wrong image is being circulated, and even the porn sites are participating into that. So this is something where the collective framework need to be built, where industries, the startups, and the government need to collaborate.
So you as a company are collaborating with the Special Task Force as well to develop a tool for deepfake videos. Tell us about how exactly that works.
So basically, the challenge with the deepfake, for example, when you work with UPSTF, Uttar Pradesh Special Task Force, which is one of the special agency of the special police force in UP. So that is where, of course, the idea is to identify. So a lot of audios being circulated where people ask money for OTP and all rights. So that is where identifying whether this audio is real or not real is something, one problem statement. Secondly, identifying how many of these samples are coming from a common source. So let's say someone generated an AI audio deepfake of Atul. At the same time, he also generated the audio deepfake of, let's say, some other person, let's say some Shah Rukh Khan, right? So in that way, we have to know whether these two audios being generated by the same AI source or different AI source, because we have to first of all target the source. And that is where we are developing a counter AI tech we already have developed, where we are trying to identify whether the sample is real or fake. That is the first problem statement, and there's the audio being generated is from the same source or not. So in that, we are taking the grapheme of the sentence being spoken or different other nuances of the voices, and then we are training different AI models on the top so that we can identify both of them. So that is one of the work we are doing with the STF, because we have to identify all those common audios being generated from a single source where people are faking something. And even if it is generated from a particular kind of app, how to identify that. So this is one of the work we are doing with the UPSTF. At the same time, we are also working with Rajasthan government, which is their Abhay Command Center project, where we are identifying the video forensics. Let's say there are video being circulated or the face being circulated. So how to identify whether it's a real or deep fake, right? So these are two projects which is ongoing with the Staqu in both of the states, and where we are working with the government for identifying it. And of course, the technology for the counter is very similar the way they create the deepfake. So for example, when you create deepfake for in the video side, you try to blend the target face with the some fake photograph, right?
So which are the industries that Staqu is actually present in?
So we are also working with retail industries, where we are working the video analytics. We're also working with smart cities. We are working with, so we have a diversified basically portfolio where we have different kind of customers who are using our AI for different of their use cases. So yeah, I mean, that is how we are in the market.
All right, good to know. And, just if we can get company specific, you're aiming to generate 400 to 500 crore rupees in terms of revenues by 2028. Tell us about how you plan to achieve that kind of growth.
So we already are at 30 crore ARR, which means average recurring revenue. The target is in next 3 to 4 years, we have to make it 15 to 20 times. And for that, of course, we already have started going international, of course, which is what our Prime Minister says, make global and go, make local and go global. We have initiated going global because that will pitch, or that will basically, scale our revenue. So that is one of the strategy we are taking for now, to go global and capture a bigger market from that place. At the same time, of course, in India also, we are scaling up with different similar customers, which we have already, right? So, I mean, this is the strategy for now, and this is how we are, of course, making ourselves. Of course, we are targeting the revenue which we are claiming to get in the next 2-3 years. Yeah.
And what's the long-term vision for the company?
So basically, of course, now AI is a very common term. AI is now, is a thing which has been discussed everywhere. We started in 2015. At that point of time, AI was known as something which is more like a robotic or something. So people were correlating AI with robots and all. Now everyone knows AI, what is AI, what it can do and all, right? So we see a big prospect. We trust there is a lot of audio and video data floating on internet that need a lot of intelligence, because of course with the video data or the audio data, I mean, manually doing the interpretation of the data or identifying any insights from that data is really difficult. So that is something we are building our technology, which can actually extract the information from those huge data, which we say the big data, and of course give the right insight. And with that insight, you can create your knowledge base for decision making. So that kind of a product we are building inside the company. And with that, we have different segments. For example, in our audio video analytics sector, we already are working with the retail leaders in the market. For example, Cafe Coffee Day, Raymond, Starbucks kind of a companies are working with us where they are using the audio video analytics for different use cases. In the same way, we are working with the state government. 9 states are working with us for identifying or securing the safe cities and smart cities where the cameras are being kept, right? And of course, catching criminals and all through different tech which we have built. So in that way, we believe India is still at a very early stage of AI, and that, of course, is a bigger problem statement we have in the country which can be solved. And we believe that if you solve India, a problem statement India, you can solve, I mean, any part of the world, because we are a very diversified country. I mean, somewhere a problem statement in, let's say, in some part of Jharkhand is very similar to some other part of the world which are not very much developed in their urban kind of a thing, right? So, and when you solve a problem statement in Delhi, so you also are already solving something which is a problem of any metro city in the world. So we are going with the same strategy, solve the diversified problem which are in India, whether it's in retail, whether it's in smart city, whether it's in the smart infrastructure and or manufacturing. And then, of course, you get the chance to scale yourself for even bigger market. And that is why we have been even getting market even in the Middle East without being there. We haven't been through any of our, we haven't met even our customer in Middle East, but still we are closing contract over there. And this is what we say, I mean, have a vision where you can make a product which can scale itself without, of course, you being there to sell it, right? And since we are solving a very diversified problem in India, we believe that this actually is replicable across